Dear members of AIPNBOA, I am Dilip Saha, your present General Secretary. You are aware that there have been a lot of discussions, lot of disruptions in the last few days because the management came out with a draconian transfer policy. They published the policy on 1/3/2025, and on receipt of the policy circular, we immediately, from the same day, started an agitation, that is to withdraw extra cooperation by not sitting late, not coming on holidays to work, and also came out of all social media WhatsApp group managed by management. This agitation continued, and because of our members' total support, because of their mood of fighting this out, this continued, whereby management called the principal leaders of the association for discussion. This discussion almost happened on 2, 3, 4 occasions, in fact. And the first time after this agitation started, the management called us on 6th of March. Thereafter on 13th of March. Then at Mumbai, MD had a discussion on 18th of March with your General Secretary. And again thereafter, 19th and 20th of March 2025. At every forum, we had taken up the issue that you should not go ahead with this transfer policy, and in order to take our all leadership under CEC into confidence, we also had a CEC meeting, and the mandate was that they should take it back. And at the same time, it was also agreed that repatriation is okay with us. So we were pursuing this policy with the management strongly, and unfortunately, management was giving example of other banks. They were talking about DFS directions. The DFS people called HR people to their office and various such things. However, we kept our position strong and pursued that only repatriation is acceptable. However, during this journey, with the support of our members, that is you, we could sustain the agitation. But at one point, when we played with the data and when we saw various situations, we found out one area where if there is no such policy of circle to circle or zone to zone, whatever management was telling, although we were not agreeing, we analyzed our own offer of repatriation. In that repatriation, we found that it would give relief to a certain number of people who are outside for long time, and at the same time, it would not help the equal number. And I will tell you through an example, just a pure example. You know that certain circles are in very much demand across the country. Various circles which are very important circles, very progressive circles, where there is a lot of pressure of people coming due to the recruitment pattern or whatever you say, that certain states have more officers coming to the bank and then they are unable to go back. Now, for example, in a circle, 200 people from other places, other zones, who has completed 9 years as per management policy, declared policy, they wanted to come to a particular circle. Believe me, certain circles has that many numbers to come for people to choose those circles. Now, if those 200 officers are accommodated as per repatriation basis, then we are helping these 200 people to come home. But equal number has to be taken out from that particular circle, and they cannot go to the neighboring circles within the zone because we have not allowed the circle to circle transfers even. Therefore, where would these 200 people who are to be taken out in order to accommodate those other outside, those who are coming from outside, they would definitely have to go to very, very deficit circles across the country. For example, Murshidabad is a very deficit circle. Nadia in Bengal is a very deficit circle. Purba Midnapur, Paschim Midnapur, Kharagpur are very deficit circle. 24 Pargana South is very deficit circle. 24 Pargana North has their branches bordering the Bangladesh. Similarly, there is a huge shortage at Northeast. There are shortage at Rajkot and various other places. Now those officers who are forcefully taken out in order to address the repatriation policy, they would have to go to these circles. And because of their nature of being so big deficit, these people, these officers would not be able to come back. Thereby, we are helping 200 people and punishing another set of 200 people. Or maybe the punishment is more severe than the coming people. So, somewhere we calculated that certain amendments may be required. In that context, we studied. You are aware that management has given a list of people, those who have completed 6 years in a circle has to move out to a different circle, and the other proposal was those who have completed 9 years in a zone, they will also have to go out of zone. Now, this list you have already seen in HRMS notice board and everything, that 9,631 officers who were selected for moving from zone to zone forcefully. This covers such officers who has only 1 year or 2 years in a circle, but completed in the current circle, but completed 9 years in the zone. Even they are also have to go out from the zone to a different zone. Therefore, we formulated and told management that we will not accept the zone to zone transfers. If any officer willingly and not by force and not by a policy direction wants to go to another zone or another circle, he is always available. It is also available throughout the past years under ICT. So they can always apply. And circle to circle, when they come, if that circle people are not moved out to the neighboring circle, then these people cannot come. And subject to vacancy only they can come. So these are the conditions we have put and said, come what may, zone to zone transfers we will not accept. Now the remaining was that circle to circle. Now in circle to circle, management's proposal of 6 years from one circle to another, we had to put lot many riders in order to give proper relief, logically possible, and at the same time gives a huge relief to our members. Now, how many changes we made in that? We made changes where a officer completing 6 years will not be transferred. We increased it after a lot of negotiations. Management conceded and agreed for 1 more year, that is 7 years. By virtue of 6 to 7 years, around 3,000 people comes out. 3,000 plus. 3,000 plus. I can give you the exact figure also, because it is 3,408 number gets reduced by increasing that 1 year. Then we have put another condition that 54 years is the cutoff. Beyond 54 years, people would not be changed, transferred, even if they have completed 25 years or 30 years in a circle. Thereby, another 1850 officers would get reduced. Then we said that they will go to the contiguous circle, that is the neighboring circle, which means whether we are from PNB 1 or United Bank or OBC, we had our circles before merger covering a bigger area, which is now almost divided to 2 to 3 circles, the same area, which means if you go to a neighboring circle, then it is the earlier circle prior to the merger, almost. So then we have put a condition. Management said 58 years, we reduce it to 54. Then management said that children up to 2 years, we increased it to 5 years. There was a lot of discussion, lot of to and fro talk. Finally, management had to agree with us. And that means today, the child's age up to 5 years is covered. There was some logic we applied that by 6th year they have to be admitted in a school and all. By that time, something which will not be otherwise possible. But today you see a scenario, if an officer has completed, 7 years, we have increased from 6 to 7. So after 7 years, if he has to move to the neighboring circle, but his child is 1 year old, he will not move out. He will not move out for another 4 years. His stay can go up to 11 years, 12 years. And then we said there are a lot of, in today's scenario, in today's, young generation has joined the bank, there are a lot of cases where one of the parent is not there, either maybe through separation or death or any case. There, we have said, till the child is up to 15 years of age, that means he has already gone up to 10th standard, and that there will be no transfer. Hypothetically, if the person has a 1 year old child, and he, even though he has completed 7 years, he can stay another 14 years. That means 21 years. So these all has to be reduced from the various data, and thereafter physically handicapped, caregivers to the dependent people, all these will be again reduced from the total number. And in case something critical illness is not covered, management agreed that such type of ailments, if at all it is not covered in the policy, but it is understood as a very serious issue, then a committee, separate committee would be formed in head office to examine them, and not at the whims and fancies of 1 or 2 management official. It would be a committee. They would also take care of giving that relief to certain number of people, which as on date may not be covered in the critical illness policy. So we have covered all types of situations. And next is, if a officer now goes from one office, one circle to another, now there is no question whether if he is 2 years in the circle but completed 9 years, that it will have no consequence, because only 2 years would be counted. So you have to go up to 7 years. So again another type of relief. And thereafter, when you go to a neighboring circle, which in most probabilities would be the place where prior to the merger of banks, it was the same circle. In most cases, we have put another rider. We have not changed the ICT policy, the eligibility criteria of ICT policy. It still remains 2 years as on 31st March. So if an officer goes to a neighboring circle, he or she would be available to apply for under ICT when he becomes eligible. Now, what is the chances of their coming back? Our calculation shows that they can come back 100% of 100% officers. Why? Because this 6 years policy would create vacancy in those circles where you are wanting to go back again. Plus, there will be promotional cases, there will be deaths, retirements. So it would create a vacuum whereby 100% of you can come. Again, the note we have signed with the management, we have put it a condition that your coming back would be the priority, and only after that the normal ICT and promotional placement would be done. So you would be in a position to come back to your circle. In today's time, if you compare with other banks, which we cannot avoid because we live in the same place where all other PSU banks are functioning, still we may be 10 times better or more than any other policy in any other PSU. You are never going out of the zone after signing this policy. So, comrades, apply your mind and see that whether there is a merit or not. Of course, I can't expect all people, because every individual would have their own agenda, own situation. Somebody's, now we are going to press 2 more items with the management. We are going to say, I am writing to the management, I have already talked to our MD and CEO, that those who are exempted from this 7 years circle transfer policy, they remain in the circle in those situations where children, health, critical illness, single parent, various reasons, they will stay back in the circle. They would have to go for a station change within the circle, which is an existing policy. Now, we are taking up with management that 6 years, that policy should be also enhanced to 7, because a person will go to a station within the circle, of course, but again after 1 year completing 7 years, they have to go out. So, this is one. Second, if your spouse, male or female, if one of them has completed and comes under this policy and being transferred out to the another circle, the other spouse, if he or she is eligible as per the promotional policy or the existing policy, and if they apply for that same circle, even though they have not completed 7 years, they want to go and live with spouse, we would try, we are still doing, and I am very sure that we will get this done, that they too should be allowed to join their spouse in the other circle. So, comrades, your General Secretary has been keeping the members concerned as the topmost concern. Our general members are making us stronger. Our general members' activities, participation in agitations and everything has also resulted into such a policy decision by the management. But if we pursue something which may not be logically working, and continue to put you into difficulties, then I think we are not doing our job properly and putting our members who, through their faith in the leadership, is going for agitations, but I put them into a difficult situation. So, comrades, the total number from 9,631, it gets reduced because of all 9-year and other things is gone. Thereafter, it is further reduced because 6 years to 7 years it has become. Thereafter, it is further reduced because of 54 age. Thereafter, it is further reduced because child below 5 years, single parents having child below 15 years, and also your other critical illness, caregivers, and various other exemptions. As per our calculation, the 9,631 gets reduced to something of around 2,800. I mean, certain things are assumed, that is the children's age up to 5 years, the 15 years that parents, because these data are yet to come, but in consultation we could get certain idea of these figures, but certain other things are crystal clear, that 7 years number. So the 9,631 numbers gets reduced to about 2,800 or so, and that too within the comfort of within the zone. You are never ever going out of the zone. So comrades, this will help those officers who are outside for ages also to come back and also take care of those who are, and we have emphasized that linguistic area has to be respected, and we have certain zones, especially 3 zones where different states are there in the zone. So we'll take care and see that maximize our position, that they remain in the position. Today, one circle, Patna circle leader informed me that earlier the number was 286 when management published that 6-year, 9-year policy. I don't know the calculation, what he said, I am telling. He says this has come down to 42. So comrades, we feel, especially I feel, that we have protected our officers to the maximum level available and had a joint signed document which management would not be able to violate. So our Delhi officers, even with the 6 years policy station change, were being transferred out. They were sent to Meerut and other circles outside the zone. Nobody was thinking that it is happening. Mumbai city officers had no place to go outside the municipality area, were going to a different circle altogether. Management wanted to say that 3 circles together would be counted your 6 years policy. We changed that. Same thing happened at Calcutta. All circles of Calcutta, 3 circles would be 1 station. So even if you have spent 2 years in 3 years in different circles, totally 7, totally 6 as per original plan of management, they would have to go out further and further. This is removed. We have removed the northeast and our Jammu and Kashmir area. Some people may think that it is partial to them that it has been helped. It helps them obviously, but it helps other officers not in northeast, not in Jammu Kashmir, because had they also had to follow this policy, then from Srinagar people would go to Punjab, from within the zone also, and the Jammu people would have to go to other circles of Amritsar zone, who will fill up those vacancies? You, who are not in Northeast, who are not in Srinagar. That also gets prevented. So this had a very, we worked out with all sincerity, covering all types of scenarios. Certain people today, they are working, they have not completed 7 years. But by the time they complete 7 years, their children's age is still not covered, they will cross. Some people today is not 54 and not completed, but in 2 years, because of child is 3 year old, still they will get, when their 7 years gets completed, because of child's age, certain things, they will still not go outside. So it is a policy which helps everybody some way or the other. And at the same time, we can remain within our linguistic area, within our, very near and dear to relatives, and at the same time perform for our banks. I would request you to go through the whole video. If you find anything wrong or any suggestions, you can always write to us through your email to us. Thank you very much.